Hello, everyone, and welcome. Good morning, first of all, and welcome to the latest Friends with Benefits webinar. For those of you that are here for the first time, it's probably a good idea for me to explain a little bit about what this webinar series is. Ultimately, it's the essential listening for rewards and benefit leaders. So each episode, we bring together top minds in benefits and HR to unpack the latest trends shaping the world of benefits. So if you're thinking AI, you're thinking employee engagement, return on investment, and so much more, then this is the place for you. Expect real talk with industry innovators and bold ideas that you'll no doubt want to steal. Excitingly, we're also bringing the Friends with Benefits series into the world of podcasting as well. So we've actually recorded the first few podcasts, and we're really excited to launch the podcast series in the next few months as well. So really exciting stuff. Without further ado, though, I'm Carl. So I'm the VP of Benefit Design and Partnerships here at Ben, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Mark Cowen, who is the head of colleague experience at Sigma Connected. And Mark, we'll get on to you in a moment in terms of an intro. But before we do, I thought I'd just mention a little bit of housekeeping, first of all. So if you have any questions throughout the session today, please do use the questions section in the bottom right-hand corner of the webinar. Please don't put it in chat, because I get very confused when there's questions that go into some questions go into questions, some questions go into chat, and then I can't find anything. So yeah, please, if you do have any questions, chuck them in the questions box, and we'll get to them as we move through the webinar today. So let's get going. I've teased enough here. So Mark, first of all, thanks so much for joining us today. We're really excited about this session. Would it be okay if you gave a little bit of an explanation as to who you are, your role, and perhaps a little bit about your career today?
Yeah, certainly. Thanks so much, Carl, and lovely to meet everyone virtually as well. It's really exciting for us to do this. What we do within Sigma Connected, we are different. So being involved in something like this is really exciting, especially something that we're really passionate about, which is our people, driven through our relationship with Ben and the benefits. So Sigma Connected is one of the world's leading BPOs. I am the head of colleague experience. In a nutshell, my job, I describe it as my aim is to make people smile. And if I can do that through a variety of ways globally around our business, then I've done a great job. So been with the company for around about 3 years. It's an exciting time for us. We've got nearly 5,000 global employees, with a large proportion of our base in South Africa. And then we've got just over 1,000 heads in the United Kingdom, with our base being in Birmingham. So thank you so much, Carl. Super excited to be here today and tell you a little bit about our journey since we partnered with Ben.
Amazing, thanks, Mark. So let's start off perhaps with some questions around. So for those that don't know, so we were just chatting about this before we came on air, but so Sigma Mark are two times on the successive list of the Sunday Times best places to work. It's easy for me to say, and potentially third time on Sunday. You were saying we're going to find out, which would be unprecedented in a long time, right? So I mean that's super exciting and incredible, an incredible achievement.
Yeah, we're super proud. The Sunday Times is a prestigious newspaper, and the best places to work has been going now for just over 2 decades. And to win it 2 years consecutively, we were super excited. Going buying a newspaper for the first time in years was a strange thing. Seeing our name there, and it's all based on the voice of our people, and that's what matters most. It's not one of these awards we pay for, we nominate ourselves. It's all based on what our colleagues have said about us through a survey deck of round about 28 different questions, some around benefits, but mostly in terms of how people feel. So that whole feeling that we've had within Sigma Connected has just grown. And yes, hopefully, third time lucky, if we score a hat trick, I will be the happiest man in the world on Sunday morning.
Well, we've all got our fingers crossed for you.
Thank you.
So you've won it in the last couple of years. You've been there 3 years, Mark. What did it look like? What did benefits and engagement look like at Sigma when you first joined, and what journey have you sort of taken the business on in those 3 years?
Still, I think Sigma, we live and breathe our values. We only have four values, very, very simple, four words. Um, we try and put these at the heart of every single thing that we do. So there's been benefits there. However, the process was a little bit long-winded, a little bit more manual, lots of Excel trackers, a little bit more difficult for our colleagues to take advantage of them. So over the past couple of years, the implementation of Ben, which was key, we looked at a number of providers first of all to make sure it was right for our people. Again, the voice of our people is everything.
Mhm.
So when we survey our people, we always listen to feedback. So we want to provide them with the best experience. So over the past couple of years, our benefits have really grown, more or less doubled in terms of what we offer our people now. And we're really, really proud of the wide range of employee benefits that we've captured on our Ben landing page. So exciting times. It's been a bit fast paced. It's really all about finding what's the ideal benefits for our people. And for us, that's key. We just never want to launch anything that isn't going to be relevant, that our people won't love.
Yeah,
So again, all these ideas stem from them, and then we just take them and then make them happen.
yeah. And I guess there's an element of constantly reassessing that as well, right? And making sure that, because things change, don't they? There's the art of the possible changes, what you can do for your staff changes, what your staff need changes. So I guess that constant check-in, I guess, is super important to that as well.
Yeah, definitely. We have a monthly pulse survey.
Mhm.
We regularly check in terms of how our people are feeling. We get that instant feedback. The great thing about our colleagues, everyone within Sigma Connected is very honest and open. So we'll get that feedback when it does go wrong. And
Yeah,
again, that's really important for us to then go away and hashtag improve everything always, which is one of our taglines. And it just makes everything we do fit for purpose for our people by managing any negative pieces with regards to any benefits, but also taking on board everyone's ideas in terms of what they would love to see as part of a package.
yeah, yeah. Makes a lot of sense. Cool. Okay. Right. Well, let's dig into some details then, shall we? Around sort of, I suppose let's start off with global benefit design, because you are a global business. You're not just in the UK. So when it comes to designing benefits, and you can answer this in terms of globally or specific to the UK, but what are the non-negotiables for you, Mark? What's been that sort of uh, I guess roadmap for success in terms of non-negotiables for Sigma?
So we probably take it a lot into consideration. As I said, they're the voice of our people. That stems all the ideas. If there's something we don't ever think would work, we always try and go back to our people and tell them why. That's really key, but really non-negotiable. It, it has to work. It has to be special. It has to be meaningful. It has to really relate to our people. We're just about to launch something later on this year. It involves animals. Our people are obsessed with animals. We never thought about it before until one of our colleagues had the idea. Again, we've taken that idea and turned it into a project which will land very, very soon. So for us, it just has to be simple. Our people are busy delivering great service for our customers and our clients.
Yeah,
So my team's responsibility globally is just to make sure it works well, it's easy to access, there isn't spreadsheets or codes that you need to go through to utilize the benefit. So for us, simplicity is really key.
yeah. So the user experience is a massive part of it, and I guess when you're sort of measuring success, then is it about financial impact, or is it more? I guess it's probably more about stories, right? And actually how it impacts people's lives. I think that I'm hearing that a lot more, is that business leaders as well, they're more interested in story. Obviously they're interested in the financials, but stories are really becoming prominent in terms of the success of benefits, I think.
Yeah, definitely. We use Viva Engage, our online community, and we've got a very high staff ratio using that platform, as well as your standard comms channels. And then we've got our own systems as well. So we always captivate our audience one way or another. So getting those stories back is so, so important for us. It really allows us to tell how that benefit's working, how our people are feeling, how much they loved it, how much money they've potentially saved. We love seeing organic posts as well on Viva Engage, where people have maybe opted in for a benefit, whether through perks at work or one of the standalone benefits we've now got on the platform. And to see a family photo of a day out where they've saved £40 on a meal and a trip to Alton Towers,
Yeah.
we're winning. We've done a great job. First of all, everyone wants to save money, and that's really key. We're still in a cost of living crisis. We don't know when that's going to go away. So our goal here is not only just to make sure that our people love using our benefits, but in the long run, what's in it for them? It's the money saving element at the end. So we love seeing the variety of stories where people have taken it to the next level. If they're using perks at work, how many wow points they've got. So it becomes really, really interactive for us as a business.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting, isn't it? I think benefits, historically used to be, an intervention at a point of crisis, and I think it doesn't. We're so beyond that now that benefits can impact, just everyday aspects of our lives, and in subtle ways that build up to something that are meaningful in their own right, but also can build up to something much more meaningful collectively as well, which I think is a really exciting narrative, I think.
Definitely. And when you look at wow points or savings or opportunity to save, so many people go on holiday. We've got so many great benefits there for some of the major airlines. And again, like £20 is better in one of our colleagues' pockets
Yeah,
than in that business. So win-win. Win for us all, win for our people, save that little bit money, feel part of our amazing culture that we have here within Sigma Connected. And at the same time, it's on a landing page that works so well and is self-managing. So there's no issues for my team to have to work in collaboration with all our departments to make sure people are obtaining the benefits with ease. So overall, it's a great experience.
yeah, amazing. That's great. And thinking about that sort of global side of things, then how do you manage the consistency across a global workforce? I guess there's a lot of inconsistency, isn't there, in how benefits operate around the world, what the art of the possible is, how you can support people. What's your view on that? Any sort of any tips, advice?
Yeah, what we've done, we've got 5 contact centres now in Cape Town in South Africa. We're continually growing there. We've got an credible bunch of people. What we've done is we've looked at each of our 5 different sites and worked in collaboration with my team to try and source localized incentives, localized benefits for our people, as well as the everyday stuff that we offer for all our colleagues within Sigma Connected. And it makes it just that little bit more magical. There's so many opportunities and so many businesses out there that aren't part of perks at work or different reward schemes or money saving voucher options. And we've reached out to a few. Has it been a bit of a challenging process? Yes. However, the rewards on the back of it meant that in South Africa, we've got 28 individual benefits for our people, ranging from 20% off your local bar, a free donut with a coffee, as simple as that. Something that people just love. Like, I love donuts. Um, but these things mean so much, as well as all the big benefits that, as a Sigma Connected employee, our people would get naturally. So the way that we're going to change things up a little bit differently in 2025 as we move into Q3, Q4 is really focus on our surrounding areas, whether that be Birmingham, whether that be all our colleagues that work from home in the UK, or that be one of our 5 offices over in Cape Town.
Yeah, amazing. We've got our first question in. I think let's go through the questions as we get them in, shall we, Mark? I think that's probably a good way to do
Sure.
it. Question from Stephen. So, what's the split between the benefits you pay for as an employer versus what the employee pays for within Sigma?
Good question. It's round about 30% to 70%. So we've got a number of salary sacrifice options. There's another few benefit providers that we work in collaboration with that we've paid for on behalf of our people to take full advantage. For example, we collaborated with ePassy, which is my gym discounts. We paid for that for all our colleagues, enabling them to have up to 20% off a gym membership for over 40 different chains nationwide. And because all our people work from home in the UK, again, huge benefit, great opportunity, a little bit of an investment from us as a company. But at the same time, there's so many benefits there that we could take advantage of, especially here in the UK. Work, as I said, working in collaboration with some of these big brands to see if they would love to partner with you. That's been a huge success for us globally, which is really exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. I certainly think the employee funded piece. I mean, there was a study done by MetLife, I think it was a couple of years ago, where, and it was a big study, you know, so there was a lot of credibility behind it. But it was saying that 70%, I think it was 71% of employees would stay at their employer longer if they had access to better benefits, and then 50% of that 71%, so I think it's 52%, something like that. So a majority was saying that they'd even be willing to contribute significantly towards those benefits just to get access to them. So I think the voluntary piece, you know, like you say, it's if you can spend a little to save even more, people are okay with that. They're happy with that, aren't they? You know, that's I think that's an underutilized area.
Yeah, definitely. And we've seen that. We've seen that in terms of colleagues that maybe want to develop and potentially want to go elsewhere. Very sad for us. We don't want any of our colleagues to go. However, there have been those conversations to go, but this is what I get. And sometimes that grass isn't greener because in the long run, I'll save A, B, and C here on top of my salary, which is great. So if my team can come up with a package which is so different to what any other BPO offers and really unique, then again, we've done an absolute fantastic job. And if someone ever decides to stay within our business due to what we offer, on top of the relationships we build internally, um, the great development skills that we've got within Sigma Connected, then it just fits. It works really, really well for us as a business.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Okay, let's move on to leadership and employee buy-in. So probably focusing a little bit more on the prior rather than the latter.
Yeah,
I think that's where a lot of people sort of struggle. I think is they have a great idea, they know the impact. You know, their advisors are telling them the impact. They want to do certain things, but maybe they reach a stumbling block at leadership, and it's like the leadership team either doesn't share the same opinions or doesn't see the value. Is that something you've had to overcome at Sigma, and if so, how did you do that, Mark?
yeah. It's more so an education piece, and we're so lucky that our exec team buy into our goal and our strategy, and our colleague experience strategy flows into the overall business strategy. So we're all talking about the same message. And again, as I said, those four values that we have, we truly, honestly think about them before we implement a project, even before we start a benefit. And the great thing is, our exec team take up these offers too, which is really fantastic to see. And it's something that's so easy to actually pull and review from Ben through the reporting suite. So we love when a member of the exec team signed up to the gym. We love when they've taken their eye care voucher to get their eyes tested. We love when they've taken their discount on Taste Card. Um, they talk about it at every opportunity as well. So they're so proud. So we've got a number of levels within the business that we target via different styles of communication. That could be to a really funky video to tell people the ins and outs of what they'll get from that particular benefit, to a PowerPoint presentation, to a bit more of a detailed email. So we want to capture the widest range of audience, all different learning styles, no
Yeah,
matter where they work within Sigma. So yeah, we've got the buy-in from our team, and we really love them because they're so passionate about it.
yeah. And sort of going off piece there slightly. That I really that point around engaging with different generations of your population, or people's different learning styles or engagement styles, that really resonates with me. I think shoving a technical guide in front of people, or a load of text isn't necessarily the right way to engage them in that benefit. And ultimately, if you provide choice, I believe you have an obligation to educate. So it's really interesting that you're using video content and script, but also technical guides for those that want them, I guess is
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah, so we always think about our people first and foremost. Our people on the front line, and it's like everyone on this call today. Without all our customer-facing advisors, none of us would have a job. They are our most important people. Sorry, my exec team. Sorry, everyone else, but they are. And when we start thinking about those benefits at the very beginning, it's for them.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're not going to capture everyone's interest. However, they're busy. Hence the reason we produce really funky, short, segmented video content. So if occupancy levels are really high, there's a video there they can go and watch in their spare time, which is 90 seconds, which tells them everything they need to know. We're flip round, and it's not me. Some people love an instruction manual. We'll produce that as well because we want people to really fully understand that what's in it for them and what they're going to achieve by signing up to that benefit.
Yes, it's great. I think that's absolutely the right approach, and it's clearly working, right?
Definitely. Do you know, we're so proud of some of the content we've produced, and again, it features our people, and that's really key. We try and deviate away from using stock images, and we want to feature our people that's getting that benefit, saving that money, telling that story. We build a success story over them. They answer a couple of questions, we publicize it. So globally, nearly 5,000 people get to see how they feel about a new benefit that's launched and what a difference it's made from them and their family and the money it's saved them. And the exciting part in the future is what they predict to then spend or save at the end of the year based on either reward or how much they have physically saved by going into a restaurant or a bar. So yeah, we love seeing all that, and it
Yeah.
just works so well.
I think it's a real tip for people. Actually, I think what you guys do in terms of your first question is, how is this going to move the dial for our employees? How is this going to be meaningful to our employees? And you work from that point. And I think too many companies work from a point of, well, what can we afford, or what do we need to do to keep up with the Joneses, in terms of all these other sort of benchmarking things. But everything you do is with your people first, and you're monitoring what your people want through pulse surveys on a regular cadence. I think that to me is one of the biggest takeaways. I think of how you guys approach this is working back from what the employees want first and foremost. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely, and that'll never change. And we've also got the message from top down as well. So when it meets in the middle, it just works, and it's the exact same message. Um, But yeah, Carl, sometimes it does go wrong. Sometimes we propose something and say, look, we've seen this in a survey. What do you think? Do you think it'll work for you? We'll conduct a couple of steer groups or town halls to find out, do you think this would work for you? Would you benefit from it? Sometimes, and again, we'll listen. It's a clear no.
Yeah,
It just won't work for our people. So we're never sensitive in terms of feedback. And again, yeah, our people mean everything to us.
yeah, that's amazing. Cool. Okay, let's move on to a little bit around measuring impact. So I think one of the challenges we see a lot of reward and benefit leaders facing is measuring impact, right? And how do you determine whether it's a success or not? Um, I can probably guess what you're going to say here, Mark. But like, how does Sigma sort of measure that engagement and whether a benefit or strategy has been a success or not? Is it a case of simply, you know, re-engaging the workforce to understand from their perspective, or are there other metrics that you use?
There's a lot that goes into it, by the way. The employee survey, first of all, we
Sure.
conduct it twice a year. Um, that really gives us the basis in terms of how our people are feeling. So that's key fundamentally.
Yeah.
Then the pulse survey, which we conduct monthly. And again, it takes on average 13 seconds to complete it. That's instant feedback for us. However, we also, as I said, we use Viva Engage. So when we're talking about a benefit, we've built our own benefits community in Viva Engage. So we've got a couple of great experts in there, a little bit like Martin Lewis, our money saving experts.
Yeah.
They'll jump on, they'll create a post, they'll tell all our colleagues what's currently available just now. And then we take all that information, we look how many people's viewed the post, interacted with the post, any feedback from it. because again, there's no greater way of making sure that we have the best benefits package possible by our people being really direct and open with us. So speaking to people, like, so key. We conduct so many different focus groups, and we love that. We love that opportunity. And I love when someone maybe challenges something, says, why can't you do more? Why can you get this?
Yeah.
Because it really gives us ideas, and it's limitless to what we can have. And again, that goal, no doubt there'll be so many people in the call that'll think attrition, like, it's such a key KPI. So for me, it's how can I retain our people and make them really want to stay within Sigma Connected by offering the best, not only great benefits platform to host them all, but also the best offerings.
Yeah. And how tied are you to sort of utilization metrics then? What do you place much value in it?
Yeah, do you know, I love data personally. We're consistently reviewing what other businesses are doing. We're always all over LinkedIn to see what other companies, other competitors are offering,
Yeah.
looking at polls by Gallup. I've spent hours reviewing to understand what's out there, what's on the market, what are the hot topics. But for us, we probably consolidate all this information, and then that starts that plan. So yeah, there's consistent reviewing from external, internal analytics.
Yeah. And I guess there's some benefits that I guess utilization becomes less of a valuable metric, where it's, if you're introducing something that's, I don't know, focused around assisted reproduction or transgender benefits, those sorts of things, you're only targeting a very small part of the population. So therefore metrics around utilization become less valuable, I guess. And I guess the same is true of discounts as well, specific to certain areas within the
hmm
business. Again, you're looking at a population local to the discount, but then you're also looking at people that would actually use it. I guess you then get down into fairly nuanced populations pretty quickly.
Definitely. And our DE&I group within Sigma Connected is called One Me One Sigma. There's a number of colleagues in that project group that are consistently on our benefits platform, on our benefits community, and they've also got their ear to the ground in terms of that particular group, which is filled by the greatest bunch of game changers within Sigma Connected,
Yeah,
representation from all different backgrounds, cultures, religions, sexualities, different pronouns. You've got people in there that represent single parent families, um, trans colleagues,
yeah,
and again, their ideas. So they may come up with something really unique and really, really different. One of the ones that we are speaking to you about, Carl, at this moment in time, interest actually stemmed from our DE&I group.
yeah,
Um, so again, we're looking at different demographics right across the UK, culturally as well, which is really important for us. But yeah, there's so much to it, and anyone on this call today, from an engagement point of view or a comms point of view, will understand the challenges of having all that data. It's what to do with it next.
yeah, absolutely. I think I do think there's a real. I think like employee surveying is fantastic. And understanding the voice of the employee. There's information you can get from surveying that you'll never get from just pulling data around absence and things like that. I think I do, however, like completely agree that I think engaging certain working groups within an organization, so engage the Pride Network, engage Women at Work networks if you have them, young professional networks, and understand through their lens whether the benefit strategy is meaningful to them. I think
Mhm.
that's a really, really powerful way of again getting more sort of insight. We've got another question here, this time from Joanne. So how do you avoid overload? So discount sites, platforms, all of these different benefits. How do you avoid that overload piece, Mark?
Great question, Joanne, because most of the benefits providers out there tend to use multiple providers. That you see these 10% off Adidas, 15% off Nike. It's the same stuff over and over again. So first and foremost, it was really important for us to try and capture the right one for our people, with multiple brands, with multiple options that would offer something for everyone. And then it's all about the balance. It's how we roll these out. So we're very strategic when it comes to focusing on a benefit during a period. we look at the quarter, we have a plan in place. If there's a benefit launch in there, we make sure we're not going to cloud it with too much other information. We never want to confuse our colleagues or overwhelm them in any way. So first and foremost, finding the right provider for you, finding that right benefit, because I've been on benefits platforms in the past. You log in, it all looks the same. Is this discount higher here? Is it less here? It just becomes so confusing. And then making sure that you plan out your calendar of activity for the year. So what we do, even we're not launching a benefit over this next 8-week period, but we're going to go back and revisit. So we've got a bit of a project where we'll include a couple of our colleagues to tell them what their experience has been like, and then we'll republicize it internally again, so it just feels fresh. So we always aim to give all our projects a very fresh look each quarter, so it feels new.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Mark. Let's move on to communication. So global workforce, you mentioned your remote first. How do you tackle the engagement communication piece, Mark?
So I remember, and probably a lot of people on this working from home for the very first time after COVID,
Yeah.
that whole experience was a nightmare. It probably did give me a little bit of anxiety. I love being around people within the office space. So we've got round about 92% of our colleagues in the UK work from home, and the remaining 8% work in our Birmingham office. So we have a bit of a task at hand to make sure that we are taking that information and it suits that particular demographic, that group of people. So working from home, our comm style is slightly different. We believe it's super engaging, and we've got our very own unique tone of voice here within Sigma Connected. It's a bit more fun. It's kind of sassy. Um, so all our comms and our communications really encourages people sitting at home to truly get involved. And we all know you're not going to capture 100% of your audience. However, I think what we've done is we've been really relatable to each of our campaigns. So when we're going out with an update, a new benefit launch, we'll design it internally all around that campaign's brand in their colours, so it feels familiar. Um, it always flows back to our Sigma Connected branding, which is nice and clean. Again, that's why it works so well with Ben. It's such a clean platform to use. But yeah, um, I think we've done it right. Working from home can be challenging. People can sometimes feel very lonely. So on our benefits platform, we also host our EAP programs on there with a breakdown, with an indication to who you would speak to. We really want to be able to signpost people in the right way if they ever felt lonely. So very, very vital for us in terms of how we look at comms from a working from home point of view. And sometimes I often feel it's more engaged than being around the office. Being in an office sometimes can be a bit of a distraction.
Mm.
I personally believe that our people are more productive working from home. And if that gives them more of a chance to then review a benefit, ask some questions about it, or if they've got an idea about a future proposal, then great, they've got that opportunity to do so.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I must have, I agree around the working from home piece. I mean, it's a nice thing to have, isn't it? A nice option to have. But I do like the buzz of the office, and I'm currently moving house at the moment. So if anyone wondered, this isn't some like weird art sort of sculpture. This is boxes. So yeah, it's working from home while trying to move home is another challenge. Um, let's close out. I've got just one couple of questions to finish up on, Mark. So
Sure.
what's the one underrated engagement tactic you swear by? What's the one thing that you would never go without in terms of engagement?
Including our people in everything,
Okay.
everything from a comms point of view, from as I said at the very beginning, that idea in its initial stages, um, always going back to our people to give them a bit of an update. If it's going to be launched, we always drop out a bit of a teaser campaign internally where we have a countdown to launch, so people are expecting it.
Yeah.
So really, it's I just want to say it's engaging with people, but it's engaging with people at all levels right across the business, no matter which function they're in. If they're in a back office functions that support all our customer service heroes, to all those within in the campaigns, it's just keeping people updated along the way so they know what's coming around the corner, and that's so important for us.
Yeah.
So engagement, it captures everything, but listening to people,
Mhm.
it's helped us in so many different ways.
Yeah. And speaking of what's coming around the corner then, so you sort of teased earlier some benefits you might be looking at in 2025 in terms of, I think you used the word animals. Is there anything else? Is there anything else that you're looking at in terms of any sort of anything you can give us now in terms of, you know, a company like yourselves, really progressive, you know, twice winner of the Sunday Times, you know, best places to work. What are you looking at in terms of benefits for 2025, Mark?
So first and foremost, we look at the gaps in terms of what's potentially missing right now. So we always review our benefits package, how it looks, how it feels, no matter which country you're in, and then look at those options. What will be that little cherry on top for our people? And again, relate back to our people. Do a few skip sessions to get that general feeling of, would it excite them? Would it be something that we take up? But yeah, this year we're planning 3. We're super excited. I did mention pets there. Um, Whenever we post something in regards to a cat or a dog, even a pigeon, it's so bizarre. Viva Engage goes crazy within Sigma Connected.
Right.
And again, it's all organic. People are sharing pictures of their cats, their rats, their whatever animal that they've got. So someone said something one day about this particular benefit, and I won't spoil it because there may be Sigma Connected employees on here listening today, and I want it to be a surprise for them.
Cool.
But again, it's a bit of a game changer, and I've never seen it in any other BPO, and that's what we're proud about. And we've actually been working in collaboration with you, Carl, on the next 3 that's coming. And then we've got a couple of localized ones as well, which we're super excited because it just adds in a different layer.
Yeah.
As I said, there's so many businesses out there that's prepared to offer you that little bit discount, and it's just the whole piece is try, reach out to them. Nothing they can only say no. We've
Exactly.
had so many no's before in the past. Some brands I really love as well. I've been a little bit disappointed, thinking I'm not buying from you again. I still do. However, when we find those 2 or 3 brands that come back and go, yeah, we would love to partner with a brand like Sigma. We'd love to offer you a discount. It's generating revenue for them and it's saving our people money. So exciting stuff in 2025.
Amazing. That's great. So look, we want to. We've kind of got a tradition that we started on the podcast that I want to carry through into the webinar to end the to end the conversation. Hopefully you've been prepped on this, Mark. But so the tradition is we want to finish up with a benefits or reward confession. So it can be something really juicy, or it could be, you know, we introduced something and it was a complete disaster, or, you know, whatever it may be. So yeah, Mark, what's your benefits confession?
Do you know, it's probably not a disaster, but it's something that I've seen. So I've been in this industry coming up for 20 years now, and it's something that happens all the time. There's 2 things actually, Carl, and no offense to anyone that loves it or does it. However, I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
Um, Pizza day.
right.
It's come on. We can be a little bit more creative than that. Do you
Yeah,
know? You see those memes, you see it on LinkedIn, you see it all over social media. I don't think it's anything special. I think for a benefit point of view, it has to be something tangible. It has to be something that's going to last for a long period. Pizza slice of pizza won't last very long with me, and it's about memory and like good feelings. So that benefit, whether they're opting in for dental care or health insurance or getting money off a brand that they love, that's more meaningful than that impactful pizza for 20 minutes.
yeah,
But yeah, I still see it in some businesses. Some people may love it. However, hashtag we are different here. So we try and stay away from the norm that you see out there. And then the other one, and again, I used to hate it. I wasn't in a little bit Fruity Friday. I
right.
used to
Yeah,
cringe.
yeah, yeah.
I just, why a Friday? Um, why not do something a bit more creative? Why not juice it and bring in some bikes and make them make their own smoothies rather than just hand out a banana? To me, it was lazy engagement. There's so many different things that you can actually do there to truly entice people, and then provide benefits that are going to make people like really think. And I thought there's been a lot of thought that's went into this
Yeah,
rather than an apple or a slice of pizza, which is I still love both, by the way.
of course.
Um,
Yeah,
but I would rather have an IKEA voucher or a gym discount than
yeah,
a slice of pizza.
yeah, 100%. I think I'd like to think we've moved on from the world of fruit in the office and a half price gym membership being the extent of well-being. But yeah, that's really interesting. Look, Mark, you've been amazing as always. Thank you so much. I'm getting loads of comments in the chat about how inspiring and great this session has been. So thank you so much. Um, to those of you that want to, please don't forget to follow and subscribe to Ben on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Spotify. As I said, this is a webinar series we do regularly, and we're also turning it into a podcast which you'll be able to watch on YouTube, which we're really excited about. And Mark, we'll have to get you down to London in the podcast studio at some point in the near future as well.
Brilliant. And thank you for everybody that's joined in this call today. And no doubt there will be a lot of people there that work with employee benefits or colleague experience in terms of how we make our people feel within our respective businesses. There's so much out there. Like, be super creative. And Carl, the team at Ben have really helped us do that, which has been really exciting. And it just allows us to continue all the creativeness for our people, knowing that we lift and shift it and pop it on a platform, and it just means it's really easy access. So thank you so much for the invite.
Perfect, thanks, Mark. And we've all got our fingers crossed for Sunday, right? For the latest
Fingers
launch
crossed.
of best times. So
News agents, 5 a.m.
news
I
agents,
may look a mess. I don't care. As long as they see Sigma Connected's name in lights and I score a hat trick, it's better than what my football team can do. So fantastic.
perfect. Well, like I say, we've all got our fingers crossed for you. And yeah, thanks again, Mark. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Great. Thank you so much.